told your friend you're not okay? And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
All right, well then guys, welcome to another episode of True Torque. Here I am with my buddy here, Zach, and I just met him the other day, and boy, does he have a story to tell. So Zach, how about let's get a little bit of info on you, apart from obviously your name. We know it's Zach. What do you do? What's your age? Just give us some background.
All right, yeah, I'm 36 years old. I'm Utah native, but have lived in a bunch of different other places. I've worked as a mechanic in motorsports for a long time, up until my injury, where had to work on that for a while. But what else can I say about myself? I've done more than just the mechanic thing. I went to school for sustainable living, which is an entirely different thing from motorsports, and studied like organic agriculture and soil biology, and wanted to kind of live off the grid, and ended up back in motorsports somehow. So I started renting for a very small team through like a family friend when I was about like 15, 16, and it's kind of how I got my start in motorsports, although I came into that with like a lot of knowledge already. And then I did motorsports on the weekends as I was going through school and getting my degree in college, and kind of did something else for a little while. I worked in solar and electrical engineering until I decided I was going back to motorsports, and I did a deep dive back into motorsports after that. So
wow,
I worked for different racing teams in the GT4 America series, and for a performance driving school out in California, running their Formula 3 car program. So
wow, you ain't kidding about that car background, huh?
Yeah.
You really know your stuff. Wow, that is insane, man. So you could say that you have, loved cars ever since, like, forever?
Oh yeah. It started really like early with motorcycles and stuff. I was obsessed with dirt bikes when I was little, but my family, it was like not even a question of whether I was going to ever have one. It was a no, and they just thought they were too dangerous. But I watched motocross and was obsessed with it, and as I got a little older, that progressed into cars. But when I was really young, I ended up before I knew what a carburetor was, I took it apart and cleaned one out of this old motorcycle I found in a barn. Got it working and rode it all summer until my folks found out I had a motorcycle at my friend's, and they made me sell it after that. But I just always had that sort of, I just liked things that went fast, and as I was getting closer to getting my driver's license, it was like Fast and the Furious had just come out, a few years before that. So I'd really kind of got into the tuner car scene, or I read so many magazines about cars, because it was a big deal back then. You had Super Street and Import Tuner and Modified Magazine, so many. And some of them had tech articles, and I would read every article and get familiar with the mod lists and kind of what it all did. And by the time I had gotten approached by that family friend who was getting into racing, he had just purchased a Mitsubishi Evolution 8 and didn't know much about it, and at the time it was one of my favorite cars, still is, I should say. But he was having this lunch or whatever to watch one of the races that he had taken second in or something, and he didn't know much about the car, but he was on display, and I saw it there and just kind of went off, and he ended up asking if I'd come to the track with him sometime, and that first day I went out with him, he just learned so much about the car. He didn't even know he had a sixth gear.
No.
Like, he didn't realize it was a 6-speed. And so he was like, okay, we need someone that knows more about this car. And even though I was young, I, got credentialed and went around racing that Evo in Sileighty and Time Attack later on, or not the Evo, sorry, was not racing in Sileighty. We raced in Sileighty with a different car, but we had the Evo for other things, and eventually built that into a bit of a monster as well. So
wow, that is insane, man. You must have so many stories with cars and stuff, and just getting stuff done. Well, but in that case, what's the story with this one, with this baby?
Yeah, this car. It's a kind of a blast from the past, because me and some friends started this in high school. We had one friend who's came from a family with some money and wanted to learn about cars and how to put them together. And at the time, like, I had a 240, my friend had a 240 coupe, and we were just like into the whole like drifting thing. We weren't like drifting all the time, but we thought 240s were cool because you could get them for like $1,000. Back then, we paid probably $1,100 for this. But we started it in high school in an off-campus auto class. So this friend kind of bankrolled it, and we went through everything. We swapped the motor to the SR20 DT, and then got this thing painted and put it into storage. And we kind of all went different ways after high school, and it sat there for 19 years like that with just no fluids but a motor inside of it, and a fresh paint job. So I guess I forgot to mention what kind of car it is. Even it's
I forgot to ask for that too.
S13 240 SX.
What year is it?
It's a 89. So it was originally a single overhead cam motor, and if I remember right, like, it was overheating and stuff while we were driving it home. Like, motor was not in good shape, but we knew that we were swapping it. So we put it all together, and just it kind of sat. And then sometime last year, the friend who had it in his storage unit asked if I wanted the car, or what we should do with it. And although I didn't like forget about it, it was kind of like, wasn't in my possession necessarily, but it wasn't doing, it was just sitting. So it was a lot of fun to come back and be able to put it together and drive it out of that storage unit.
Wow. Yeah. So in the storage unit, you got back to working on it, and then you ordered back life, and now it's basically yours?
Yeah, no, he just gave it to me. He's not necessarily a huge car guy, and although we learned those things when we were younger, I don't think he has much of a desire. But we all wanted to see it get completed and have some fun with it and all that. So,
gotcha. Wow, that is a pretty cool friend. Wow, can I meet him, please? Because wow,
yeah,
I'd love an S13 as well.
Occasionally, I wish we had more of them sitting around, but we don't.
For sure. So, and another time when we talked, right, I think you had mentioned that when you got this, you were basically working on it with one arm, just because you had your injury very close to when you got the car. So, yeah, like, if you could like elaborate a little bit more on that, like how, like, when the injury was, when this thing was, like, what went through your mind when just like the opportunity arose?
Yeah, no, it was really kind of crazy timing-wise how it had all worked out. Because he actually hit me up about like the car and what I might want to do with it a little bit before I got injured. We were kind of trying to figure that out, but we needed to throw a little bit of money at it, and neither of us really had it at the time. So it was like, cool, it's on the table. But then, you know, fast forward to the injury where, you know, I don't know how much you want me to.
You can say as little or as much as you're comfortable with. You don't.
Yeah, it's a gnarly story, but it's what happens. I was extremely lucky to be alive or walking or anything, and I'm grateful for that. But it did pretty much, you know, shock anything from the neck down, and I was pretty much. I started quadriplegic for a little while. I couldn't move, lost all motor function and neck down, and then things sort of wavered from there, and I would kind of have the use of one arm or one leg, and then it would switch. I went from quadriplegia to like paraplegia to omniplegia after I had a stroke and just half of my body stopped working. And then it kind of just got, by the time I was released from the hospital, I was able to walk out, but not well. And I was in there for about 60, 70 days or something. And then, you know, as I got out, things kind of continued to get better and improve with my body, but with lots of fluctuations and stuff. And I was going to physical therapy all the time, and the way it kind of lined up with the car is that I ran out of physical therapy appointments. I was doing well enough that I probably couldn't even get approved, you know, for additional ones. But I was still like, my body was weak and things were weird, and I still can't feel some parts of my body, but kind of gotten used to that. And so I ran out of these appointments, but I needed something that was going to just challenge my hands and arms to get their dexterity back. You know, I could. I look at it as I was kind of in like a toddler mode where I could just clamp my hand, you know, so I could get like glasses or grab something, but I'd usually grab my clothing with it or anything around it. The fine motor stuff was almost impossible. So I knew I needed something that I was going to want to do. I'd get up and do every day. That was going to challenge me to use fine motor skills and just kind of put my left arm into positions where I was kind of forced to use them, which I felt like mechanics and working with tools and all that would do a really good job of. And, you know, you can't even tell you how many times I just needed this arm to just hold something, you know, while I got the bolt threaded. And it would be frustrating to have to use it, but I just have to remind myself, like, this is why you're doing this project in the first place, because you have enough motivation to want to finish such a cool car, and you need to keep challenging your hands and arms, or they're not going to continue to progress. So the timing was great because the car was there, and then by the time I was getting well enough and ran out of those physical therapy appointments was the time he got serious about, like, hey, let's do something with it. And we had some money we could throw at it, so it's like, okay, that's what we're gonna do then.
Wow, that is.
Yeah, I gotta have a whole lot of like new first time doing something, you know, new firsts or something. I don't know how you call it, but like first time walking up steps again, or first time like skipping, or, you know, or just like jumping, or everything felt kind of like, oh, it's feels like the first time I'm doing this. You know, building like a snowman, because I'm like working with a new set of sensation and muscles, and some muscles that are just spastic and getting in the way. There's a lot of stuff going haywire. So
wow, it went from walking the steps for the first time in a while, jumping and everything, to building your first car in a while, huh?
yeah.
Wow, that went from 0 to 60 real quick. But
yeah, it took probably a year and a half outside of my injury before I was able to really do anything with it. So long year and a half.
Gotcha.
And 6 months of then working on it, which I thought would be like a few weeks after parts, because in my brain, you know, I come from this set of like, I can tear down something and put it back together super quick if I needed to, you know. And so in my head I had it as like, oh yeah, once parts are here, I just got to put the intake side on, the exhaust side on, and now it was a lot more challenging than that.
Gotcha. So about how much time did it take for you to build it completely?
Yeah, probably, oh man, I want to say 6 months, but I think it's more like 8 or 9. Yeah, it took a long time.
Does it have a name?
You know, not really yet, but it's like so close to a Sylvia that I feel like it's got to be something along those lines. I'm kind of waiting for it to name itself, because I've only had it going for a couple months now.
Gotcha. Well, definitely let me know when you name it.
Yeah.
I bet it's going to be beautiful. Because it's a beautiful car. I mean,
yeah.
Like, the fact that, like you said, it used to cost $1,000 back in the day, and now you can't even find a clean one for $15K.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, now like a shell of one, you know, goes for $6,000 even. And yeah, we got this when they were still the cool, affordable tuner car kind of that you could get and do on a budget. And yeah, we ended up with a pretty clean chassis, and it sat in a good spot. I think maybe wouldn't have gone as well in a more humid area in storage, but Utah's dry weather, I think we were all right.
Well, maybe other places have nicer weather, but they might not have nicer cars.
Yeah.
Gotcha, man. That's super cool.
Yeah.
So, and at the moment, is it forced induction or just like naturally aspirated at the moment?
It is forced induction, and the turbo is upgraded. It's got upgraded exhaust manifold and turbo exhaust downpipe, all that. And then on the intake side, it's got fuel injectors. I think they're 770cc or something, and yeah, upgraded fuel pump and wiring and all that. It's got cams, stage 2 BC cams. Excuse me, I got a tickle in my throat.
All good.
Yeah, but since I have put it together and stuff, I have luckily like a standalone ECU from AEM. It's one of their first versions, though, because we had bought it brand new in like 2005 with the car, so it's pretty old ECU, but I'm running it stock boost for now. I had it tuned by a local guy here, JR Crosby, who's really good. He tunes a lot of the Supras and things you see around here. Those are the monsters around here. He's kind of been inside the brains of.
Just a friendly reminder, we can't have any ref bombing. I know it sounds cool, but not here. There's a time and a place. It's I-15.
Got it tuned, and I'm just running it at stock boost for now, around like, I don't know, 8 or 9 pounds, I think is what it's at. And then we'll turn it up as time goes on, and no problems pop up. So.
So any plans for kind of like the immediate future, like another engine swap or make carbon fiber parts for it, or just?
Yeah, well, I've been kind of teaching some classes on engine mechanics and how to put some of that type of stuff together. So I'd like to use it as an example, like to kind of be able to push it hard and almost have the braking things encouraged so that we can get into it and figure out, like what happened and be able to look at the data on the computer and just all that stuff. So
wow, so it's not only like a rare unicorn, that's beautiful and that's been restored to its former glory. It's also going to take part in
trying to find kids that I have. Let me hear it. Yeah, trying to find kids and teens that want to learn about cars and are interested in stuff like this that's modified, and working with a place that does a lot of 3D printing and cool stuff like that. So we may 3D print a hood vent or something, and just have something to mess around with that feels like is pretty simple. I think some of the next things will be some more suspension stuff and some more adjustable bits, so I can play around with the alignment.
Wow, gotcha. Wow, yeah, that is beautiful, man. Your story is really one to admire, because there's a lot of people that would just throw in the towel or not even have an aspiration of making stuff really well, even through hardship. So you're not to butter you up, but very admirable guy, bro. Very admirable guy, man. But
yeah, it certainly wasn't an easy thing to go through, but it's definitely changed my life for the better.
I mean, I'm gonna cry, but you've changed my life for the better too. Just seeing you actually do it, with mishaps and the difficulties, bro. And you made such a beautiful thing. I mean, the paint job and everything is just beautiful, and the fact that it's running and it's gunning, it's just a real testament to human nature and the willpower of a human. For sure.
Putting it together was tough. I can't even tell you how many times I almost lost it. That just had a tantrum, and then had to just be dude, this is literally why you're here, is because you've got to, I would just drop the bolt over and over and over or whatever, and was just yep, this is what you're trying to get through, is figure out how to do this under these new circumstances, and it would kind of calm me back down. I'm oh yeah, and it'll get done when it gets stuck.
What's the next stage?
I mean, I guess next stage I'll turn up the boost some, and maybe lock the diff or something so I can slide around a little more.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Yeah, we should talk sometime again later.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, awesome.
Cool, thanks, man.
No, the pleasure's mine, man. It's been a true honor. Man, all right, well.
Cool.
Awesome.